Hi guys, today we are going to discuss about patterns of social inequality and social exclusion. Now we are going to discuss about the subtopic laws. Laws have to be followed. It is a legal framework. Brahmins were the only educated people and the British needed the Brahmins' support. Laws were made about caste, but the implementation was poor. Let us discuss about some of the acts now. Caste Disability Removal Act of 1850. This was introduced because they wanted the lower caste to get into educational institutions so that they could study and educate themselves. Next, abolition of untouchability, Article 17. If practiced, punishable by law. Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1889. The act the Brahmins carried out on the lower caste, that is, beating them, not letting them wear bright colors, washing the streets, etc. Constitutional Amendment Act of 2005. The 93rd Amendment. It is to do with education and no one can be devoid of education. They are still socially, economically and culturally backward. There are social organizations, associations and political parties and social movements fighting particularly for these lower class people. Satyashodak Samaj, Truth Seeker Society, mainly for the Dalits and women, by Jyotiba Phule. Brahmo Samaj, Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Arya Samaj, by Dayanand Saraswati. Dalit Sangharsh Samiti, Bahujan Samaj Party, BSP Kanchulans, Dalit Panther Movement in 1970s. We are now going to discuss about other backward classes, OBCs. Those groups of the forward caste who are economically backward, very poor and they are treated like the Dalits, but there is no untouchability. Reservations are provided to them since they are illiterate, uneducated and are given the same jobs as the Dalits. Different commissions were set up for these OBCs. One is Kaka Kalilkar Commission. It was set up to go to different villages to decide which caste or subcaste should be given the status of OBC. Next, Mandal Commission set up by VP Singh. Large issues in late 80s and 90s happened. VP Singh gave reservation in some states but not in other states. This led to protests by other people. Politics of OBC. Politicians promise reservation for the OBCs only to expand their vote bank. There is nothing else to do for them. Those OBCs that are better off than the other OBCs are upper OBCs. The lowest category is equal to the Dalits. Now let us discuss about Adivasi's struggle. Janjatis, the first inhabitants, Vanjatis, forest dwellers, Adivasis and Girijans. These are the first dwellers of the forest. They maintain and protect the forest. They like to be alone, isolated and their occupations are well connected to the forest. They were generally hunters, shifting cultivators, and honey gatherers, etc. Let us discuss about what happened during the colonial rule. Maximum exploitation of forest dwellers happened during this time. Forests were cleared for collecting timber, setting up of roads, railway tracks, etc. Tribal people lost livelihood. Few became thieves. Timber was stolen and animals were poached. Others went to nearby cities and towns and became laborers working for wages. Thus the tribals revolted and protested, which led the British to reserve areas known as exclusive areas or partially exclusive areas. No one was allowed to enter into the forest as these reserved areas were protected by the Britishers. The non-tribals were not allowed to enter the area, but this was not implemented properly since the weaker sections were sidelined. We were discussing about what happened during the colonial rule, how the tribals or the forest dwellers suffered, how they were not allowed to enter into the forest, how they were not allowed to take honey or poach animals. They were fully dependent only on the forest. Now let us take a look at what happened during the post-independence period. Development continued to take place to the tribals. They suffered. Roads, railways, tracks had to be made and timber had to be used. Hydroelectric projects like dams were made out for recreational purposes and the culture of the tribals gets clouded. The displaced tribals lost their livelihood and was taken away. The tribals began revolts, rebellions, protests due to exploitation and discrimination. We can say almost that they were displaced. There was no rehabilitation for them. They were not allowed to enter into the forest or make out their livelihood. The Adivasi or tribal movement came across and three states were formed: Jharkhand, Uttarakhand and Chhattisgarh. Now let us discuss about women's structure for equality and rights. Women are considered to be physically and biologically weaker, but they are not socially or economically weak. We can see now many of the women are well educated, having good placement in the society. They are able to tackle even difficult situations. They even participate in politics also. This is due to the patriarchal society and mindset of the people. Patriarchal society has to be changed. The society which we see now is totally different. The society which was earlier is totally different. Society was very difficult those days. Like Sati Pratha, when a woman's husband dies, she would be pushed into the pyre or the fire by her family members. She cannot live. This happened in certain communities. Dayanand Saraswati started the Arya Samaj to educate the girl child, upliftment of women both socially and economically, abolishment of child marriage. He encouraged widow remarriage. He was against the study of Western education and he wanted women to study the Vedas and learn about housekeeping as they would ultimately become homemakers. This social work was done by the Arya Samaj. Raja Ram Mohan Roy abolished this Sati Pratha. Nowadays we don't have this Sati practice. Think of those difficult days. William Bentinck. He started the Brahmo Samaj for the upliftment of the status of women by giving the girl child education. He wanted child marriage to end and he wanted to encourage widow remarriage. He abolished child marriage. Widow remarriage. This is very difficult. When a girl's husband dies, what would happen to her? She would not be remarried. She had no education and there was no means of earning for her. She has to be dependent either with her father or brothers. So this is all very difficult situation. Nowadays women are able to earn their own bread. They are not dependent. Abolition of child marriage. This has also been stopped. Nowadays no child is getting married, isn't it not? Dayanand Saraswati, Arya Samaj. He founded the Arya Samaj for the upliftment of the women. M.G. Ranade was also a male social reformer. He was a Hindu Brahmin and was shocked by the way women were treated. He wrote 2 books and appealed to the people, saying that even in the Vedas it was not mentioned to treat the women badly or they shouldn't get married again. Next, Jyotiba Phule. He was a Dalit and started the association called Satyashodak Samaj, Truth Seeking Society. He focused on the status of Dalits and women and he was the first Indian to start a college for women in Puri. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan. He was a well-educated Muslim and he wanted the Muslim women to be educated as well. They were suppressed. He wanted to uplift them because of the Parda system. Muslim women should also learn about housekeeping as they will become house workers. They have to take care of their children too. Next, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. He concentrated on widow remarriage. He opposed the way widows were ill-treated. He encouraged men to marry the widows and arranged the community marriages. He did this to give respect to the women. There were women reformers like Tarabai Shinde. She wrote a book called Sri Purush Tulana in 1882 which spoke about how men treated women. She was suppressed. Women race was given a very low status. Women were ill-treated like slaves. There was the prevalence of polygamy, so men would marry women. She felt that women were degraded, so she wrote the book to spread awareness about the importance of women. Another women reformer was Begum Rokia Shakawat Hussain. She wrote an interesting short story, Sultana's Dream, in 1915, where there was role reversal, men and women in a magical world. The man usually worked, stayed there and cooked and did all the household work, and women would work, go out for jobs and travel in rockets. In reality, it was very rural for a man to do household work. Men should always help women and lead them to go out always. It was her desire. Begum Rokia Shakawat, in her story Sultana's Dream, whatever she has written in her short story had become a reality now. Men are doing all household work and women flying in rockets. Provisions for women, their position and status in the society. During the 19th century, there were very few associations which fought for the upliftment of women. After the independence, many women associations came up for the upliftment of women. One among them is the Karachi Session of 1931. Few provisions were suggested and later included in the Karachi session. Everyone is equal in the eyes of law, irrespective of their religion, caste, language and sex they belong to. Women should be allowed to hold positions in society, in government jobs, not taking in account their caste or language. Universal adult franchise should be allowed to vote, irrespective of their caste or religion, etc. All women have a right to vote, right to stand for any office or to take up any job. Differently abled. The terms which were used then and now. Handicapped. Now we call them physically and mentally challenged. Crippled was called earlier. Now we call them physically challenged. We were calling them blind. Now we call them visually impaired. We called them deaf. Now we call them hearing impaired. We called them dumb earlier. Now we call them speech impaired. These terms have changed as these terms are very derogatory and should not be used. They are not only physically and mentally challenged but are also socially discriminated. They are not integrated into the society in the mainstream. These terms are used loosely and are considered as insults. So the terms which we earlier used were insulting them, so that we interchangeably used different terms like visually handicapped, physically challenged, like these. They were socially discriminated. Let us now discuss about the features of the disabled or the differently abled people. It is biologically given or genetically it is happening, can be due to accidents, physically impaired. The blame goes to karma or fate often. They are considered to be victims of fate and are fiercely independent. Everything that they do is attributed to their disability. People just show sympathy and pity, but they don't want them. Disability is linked with their self-perception, whether they have a poor perception of themselves. We feel that the disabled people are in need of help. In the past, in the mythological movies, the negative character is a differently abled person. The differently abled persons are discriminated, but society does not accept them. Differently abled people and poverty. There are no life chances and opportunities for these people like others. They are not educated, hence they do not get jobs, and this leads to poverty. If they are not accepted by their family, this leads to begging. Due to poor conditions, unsanitary conditions, improper health and education, mother has too many children, no polio drops, leads to disabilities. There is inadequate immunizational, one crowded housing. According to the 2001 census, many crores of people in India are physically challenged. The differently abled began protesting and formed associations. The differently abled people began protesting and forming associations and laws by the government. Nowadays, in the malls and airports, there are separate bathrooms for them. There are separate educational facilities called Tamanna, but they want to be integrated with the mainstream. Provisions are being made in schools, ports, malls, airport like parking, ramps, lifts, buses, but this is not enough for them. Most of the hospitals do not have ramps. The awareness is increasing, but the number of disabled are also increasing. Now let us discuss some of the important terms which are necessary for this lesson. Caste. The graph made on the basis of birth is called caste, which makes it imperative for the members to follow the same norms regarding food, marriage, social contact, etc. Discrimination. Practices, act or activities resulting in the unjustified exclusion of the members of a particular group from access to goods, services, jobs, resources, etc. They are normally accessible to others. Discrimination is behavioral component of prejudice. It is simply just an exclusion from the normal stream. Egalitarian, believing in the principle that all human beings are equal and should enjoy the same rights. Ethnic cleansing, the creation of ethnically homogeneous territories through the mass expulsion of other ethnic population. Ethnicity, an ethnic group is one whose members share a distinct awareness of a common cultural identity separating them from other groups around them. We share a common culture. Gender. In social theory, the term reserved for the socially and culturally produced differences between men and women, as different from sex, which refers to the physical, biological differences between men and women. Nature creates sexes, society creates genders. We have come to the end of this session. We have fully discussed about this chapter in part 1 and part 2. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel Schooling and press the post notifications. You will be notified every time. Part 1 link in description. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and keep watching Schooling to learn more without going to school. Thank you.